Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I just want to do a quick video here as I'm going through my email on self-sabotaging. So I got this email from Jean, I believe, and he says we were talking about body fat and stuff because of my video where I showed my latest progress where I had low body fat, and he wants to know about self-sabotaging. So I thought I'd answer this real quick. So he says, I was also wondering if you had tips against self-sabotaging. I was a super fat kid and managed to get in really good shape, but lately I've been binge eating like crazy and effing up my progress. I'm also a marijuana addict. I don't do anything else, no other drugs or alcohol, but I still consume way too much. I really feel like I can't control myself when I'm sober and can get really angry at the people I love, like my girlfriend. Lately, I dropped out of school to give a shot at my own business, which is actually doing all right, but I feel like I can't give it my 100% with all these other problems. How do I stop self-sabotaging myself? I really need your wisdom. You're the only person I actually watch on YouTube. So here's the thing. Self-sabotage. All right, first of all, drop the marijuana. Just drop it. You don't, that's just, it's not going to help you. You're using it as a crutch, okay? I don't have any problem with, I did videos on drugs. I'll do another one, but I don't have any problem with the drugs itself. I don't have any problem with alcohol itself. I have problems with things that are crutches, okay? So you don't want to use something as a crutch. It's a crutch. It's your way of relaxing or unwinding or de-stressing or whatever it is. No, sorry, no crutches here. If you want to stop self-sabotaging yourself, you got to stop making excuses. You got to stop using crutches. That's not going to help you. The binge eating, right, and screwing up your progress here, self-sabotaging in general. Okay, so let's talk about this. Why do we self-sabotage? Why do we do these things to ourselves? Why do we, mess up when we're trying to get in really good shape? It's because what we do a lot of times is we have this mindset of doing something temporarily or depriving ourselves instead of making things permanent, right? So when people try to quit things, when they try and abstain from things, right? One of the biggest problems, you can watch my video on overcoming addiction here, which I talk about this, but I'll talk about some more here, which is one of the biggest problems that they do is that they try and they deprive themselves for some period of time in order to get this reward. So they're not changing their mindset, right? I was looking at this forum where a lot of people were, I belong to this Facebook group where these people are on this ketogenic diet, right? And a lot of them are doing well, but a lot of them are screwing up, and it's because they're posting. Everyone in the Facebook group, by the way, posts all these recipes, right, of all these foods, these fantastic pictures of these foods they're eating, and while you could be ketogenic and eat good foods, that's totally fine. The problem is that the people that are trying to lose weight in there, when they are, what they're doing is they're not changing their mindset on food. They're not changing. They're not accepting the new reality of what it is. So this is what happens with a lot of dieters is, right, what they do is they deprive themselves for some period of time, but they're still fantasizing about these good foods or what they'd love to eat, right? And so what they're doing is they're getting through their days, they're biding their time, they're getting through their life until they can get to something that they enjoy or the reward. And a lot of self-sabotaging comes from this. It comes from this idea of getting through what you have to get through so you can get this thing. And that's why we go and we binge eat, right? Because here's what happens. Okay, you're trying to get in good shape, right? Or you're in good shape, or you're whatever you're doing, you're depriving yourself for some period of time. You go on this long diet, you go on this crazy program, and the whole time that you're on this diet, the whole time that you're on this program, you're thinking about when it can end so that you can go and stuff your face, okay? That's what you're fantasizing about, right? And same thing happens when overcoming addictions, right? Whatever kind of addiction, if it's drug addiction, you're thinking about, well, when you can actually get the chance. Or for those of you guys that are overcoming the whole porn and masturbation addiction, by the way, watch the video I did on that if you're interested in that topic. You're waiting, you're not changing your mindset, right? You have to you cannot hold back from these things, right? What you have to do is you have to change your level of awareness. You have to change who you are, your nature, to elevate your nature so that you no longer want these things or crave these things. So I'm trying to think of how to put this. So if you have this mindset that you are going to be on this restrictive diet and this program in order to lose weight, and then but you're still fantasizing about the stuff you can't have, as soon as you break that, which you will, right? Whether you reach your goal or you fail, you're going to go on a binge, right? And you're just going to eat like crazy, and you're going to screw up your progress, and you're going to self-sabotage. If you try and quit drugs, you try to quit your marijuana habit, and you're thinking about how much you want to do it, and you haven't changed that mindset, you haven't changed that nature, you haven't really sat down and had the talk with yourself about, look, I don't need this. I don't need this crutch. I don't want this crutch. Same thing with the food, right? I don't need to binge eat, right? My life doesn't have to revolve around it. I can find other things I enjoy. I can find other meaning and purpose in my life other than this thing, whether it be an addiction or whatever it is, whatever is screwing you up. If you can have that conversation, it'll change your mind, it'll change your nature. And when that happens, then the behavior changes as well. The problem is when we try and control just the behavior, and then eventually what happens, it's like, what is this? Like a rubber band, okay? And you're stretching the rubber band, eventually that sucker is going to snap, and it's going to snap back hard. It's going to snap back faster than what it was before. It's actually going to overshoot, right? If you think about, pulling a rubber band back and letting it go, it actually, at one point, the rubber band goes further forward than it started when you first started pulling it. And that's what happens. That's what self-sabotage looks like. It looks exactly like that. The solution is not to leave one end of the rubber band, held in one hand and pull back the other end. The solution is to move the entire rubber band backwards. You see what I'm saying? Not create the tension. When you're depriving yourself, but you're still leaving one foot in your past, in your history, in the I want to eat good foods, right? When you're leaving that foot there, I want to smoke marijuana, but I'm going to deprive myself. I want to watch porn, but I'm going to deprive myself. When you leave your foot there, it's like stretching the rubber band, because you're trying to escape from this thing, and you're stretching. Eventually, bam, it's going to come back. So, how do you stop this? You want to stop self-sabotaging? Don't leave the foot there. Don't leave the one end of the rubber band. You got to abandon that. You got to abandon the crutch. You got to go and you got to convince yourself that you want the newer, better self. You want something else, right? And it takes some convincing. It takes some time. You have to change your nature. How do you do that? You read up books on the subject. You convince yourself in mental exercises, right? You use reality, you evaluate yourself, and you see where you're at, and you honestly have conversations with yourself until you've actually gotten to the point where you really do believe this other thing, that you do not need to look at food that way. You do not need to look at whatever it is that's sabotaging you that way. So this is key. This is critical. It's a good question, but we all suffer with self-sabotage. I do, but all the time when I'm self-sabotaging myself, it's because I have not committed 100%. I've left my foot. I've left one end of the rubber band, there, and I'm stretching it, and it's eventually going to snap. So anyway, if you like this video, click the subscribe button below, and you'll get more of my videos. I produce like 2 to 3 a day. I will talk to you next time. Take care.